welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here with the lovely Libra October horoscope. Wow, what a big month we've all got coming up. We have Mercury, Saturn and Pluto all turning direct. Mercury turns direct on the 2nd or the 3rd, depending on what country you're in, what time zone. And we also have a solar eclipse on the 25th. That's in Scorpio, so it could be some quite intense or compelling feeling, especially around your money, because it is in your second house of finances, possessions, and the things that you value in life. Okay, we have Jupiter and Mars turning retrograde at the end of the month as well. So we'll have a look at all of that, and just to let you know, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. And if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to this board and we'll draw the cards, and then we'll come to this, your horoscope. But for the first half of the month, the card that I'm going to draw, what does it relate to? I see it's like a piece of white paper with a big circle, sort of more or less like this, but it's not a horoscope. It's a big circle, and then it goes into a spiral down and down and down. But I feel like this is more like I'm looking at it from the viewpoint of spirit looking into your body. It's like the spiraling energy, the chi force coming down through your crown chakra into your body. You might become more aware of this in the first half of October. Okay, let's have a look and see what card comes up. It's the Knight of Pentacles. It is about your money, and you have a party here going on, a party in the house, in the house that relates to your finances. Yes, so the Knight of Pentacles. So this is like a sort of young kind of experimental energy. Be very cautious about experimenting with your money though, because it's very easily lost, especially these days. But there could also be some travel around this. But also the sense of knowing that you're protected by upstairs. The lion gives you strength, so you feel stable. There's action that could be taken as well. And this card sometimes indicates a change of residence, okay? There's sort of movement around this, and maybe you're experimenting or exploring how, you get your life the way that you want it, and how, what your money can do to help you do that. So upstairs is looking out for you from the other side with strength, giving you strength to do what you have to do. That's the first half of the month. And the second half of the month, let me just close my eyes. Oh, it's money again. But it's weird because it was a coin, which suggests change, and then it's like your book of life, and somebody's picking it up with their right hand. It was like it was stuck in one position, and they're going to put it down in another position. That says to me that your life, it could be like there's some major transformation or change around your life, so that it's almost like you're in one circumstance, and then the next minute you're in a different circumstance. And something changes. It could be quite radical, a radical change even. All right, just let go and embrace the future, what destiny has for you. Let's have a look and see what card comes out. Okay, here's the coins here. Pentacles. This is about doing a job that has a spiritual note or a spiritual tone to the job, and being suitably rewarded for what you do. You may be thinking about a new job, or a job comes, from the side. Maybe you didn't expect it. There's action to be taken here. See the red legs, and she's got a bright blue top on, so self-expression is part of this. But it's like you're rewarded for what you do, and money comes to you, or some sort of gift or some sort of recompense comes to you for what you do. Okay, so 8 of Pentacles. Let's get our cards organised in a row so that you can see what's going on. And I'm just going to change this so you can see it better because we're going to look at your horoscope now, lovely Libra. Alrighty, I'm a Libra too actually, so it's always interesting. Now you'll see this dominant, this is called a Grand Cross, but it's only for a few hours. And the reason I'm putting it here, normally I wouldn't for a few hours, but it starts the month off. And I always think the start of the month is like a bit of a template for the rest of the month. And so there could be some sort of major challenge here, but it's a challenge that gives you growth. Now, depending where you are in the world, that could be on the 1st of October if you're in, say, the States, or the 30th of September if you're in Australia or New Zealand. We have Mars here, broadening your life, and maybe it's to do with study. And we also have the moon down here, which sometimes the 3rd house is also associated with study, and the moon in Sagittarius. So your subconscious forces, or being at home or being private, sometimes associated with women. And Mercury here, communications coming from your subconscious perhaps because it's in the 12th house, and Neptune in your everyday life or routine. Sometimes there's confusion or vagueness with that, but it's a very spiritual force that actually permeates your everyday life. So just be cautious, 30th or the 1st. It's not a good time to sign contracts, and Mercury is retrograde at that time until the 2nd or the 3rd, depending where you are. It's a better time to stay home and just, lay low and not do too much or make important decisions, because you could be feeling something. Even if nothing happens, it could be something coming out of your subconscious, messages coming out of your subconscious, it could be about even to do with your health, because we've got Virgo, Mercury in Virgo. So messages to do with your health or well-being coming from your subconscious. And then opposite that, we've got Neptune in your 6th house, which is also to do with health and well-being. And sometimes Neptune is associated with viruses. So it's not a really good time to go out into large crowds or groups of people. Then we have Mercury direct, I spoke about just a moment ago, Saturn going direct and Pluto going direct. This will give you more energy and a push forward in life. The solar eclipse is on the 23rd here in this plethora of planets here in your financial zone, bringing a new beginning. It could be a little bit turbulent, but maybe you're going to get some brilliant sort of idea. There might have been a problem, and then there's a resolution, or you figure out a way to fix that problem, and you start on a new beginning. Jupiter going retrograde on the 28th, and Mercury on the 30th. But I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Okay, so looking at my notes here, I'll give you a rundown. 30th to the 2nd, Venus opposition Jupiter. Now, normally opposition is quite challenging, but with Jupiter, it just puts things into perspective, and you become more realistic. Jupiter's not normally known for being realistic. It's quite a confident, positive, exuberant sort of planet. And with Venus, you could be in a real festive partying mood, having a good time with friends, socialising, going out, there's social events. This is not the normal interpretation, but I just feel here while I'm saying that, it could be with friends and neighbours, or someone in your local community that you're socialising with as well. Do watch, because it's hard to say no to food or drink or any sort of extravagance. Jupiter loves all sorts of things. Venus loves sweet things. Venus wants you to eat you know, if there's multiple desserts, you've got to have a bit of every dessert, according to Venus. You'll likely have a really good time, so go ahead and do it. Just watch overspending and overindulging, too much of a good thing. 29th to the 4th, Mercury opposition Neptune. Now, Mercury is now direct, but it's still opposition Neptune here, which does make for confusion. Not a good time to sign a contract. You might have some sort of misunderstanding, or somebody could be out to deceive you, you know, if you're going into an agreement, so watch that. Your thinking could be fuzzy, and you could be swayed by your feelings, which is not a bad thing if you're dealing with friends and dealing with people. You'll probably be quite empathetic to their situation, but yeah, not a good time to do logical stuff. And then we have the 5th to the 8th, Mercury trines Pluto. This is good for finding stuff. If something's missing, like my passport, hopefully, because I'm a Libra, and hopefully I'll find it then. I've been looking for a few weeks where I thought it was. It's not where I thought it was, but it'll be in a safe place, no doubt, so I might find it. You can solve a problem or solve a mystery under this influence. You can find lost things, and you can look in your own inner depths and you know, get a lot of information about what's going on in your subconscious, especially, I want to say, especially regarding your health. 10th to the 13th, Sun trines Saturn, and this is fabulous for work. If you've got something that's a difficult kind of thing, you can think more clearly now and think quite logically. You can eliminate any superfluous influences in your life, things that you don't need. You could say goodbye to things that distract you. You're likely to have more self-control and discipline. And you might have a list of jobs that you want to do, like I do, for the month. And I think I've crossed like 2 things off the list and the month's 2/3 over. But under this influence, this gives you the energy to do it and the brain power to be able to tackle tasks that you know, you wouldn't normally want to tackle. Then we have Mars squaring Neptune, 9th to the 18th. You mightn't be feeling very energetic now. You might feel a bit flat or unmotivated. It's not the time to push yourself. Try and be gentle with yourself now, and, you know, manage your energy, manage the energy that you've got. You'll have some energy because you'll get out of bed, but yeah, you mightn't have a lot. So don't go out and run a marathon, for example. You know, it's not just not the time for pushing yourself now. It is a good time for your fantasy world and your imagination. So yeah, you might get some sort of brilliant idea, write them all down. That's what I always say. It's probably an inspiring sort of time, or a fertile time for your imagination. On the 9th is the Hunter's full moon in Aries, which is your 7th house of committed relationships. And this could bring some sort of turbulence, but at the same time it's illuminating a situation. And again, maybe there's a problem there, you haven't been able to solve it, but with this illumination, it'll shake things up, yeah, and there'll be emotions around it, yeah, for sure. And you become aware of the rumblings within. And sometimes, you know, in relationships, there's problems, like he still hasn't mowed that grass or whatever, whatever the problem is. And, you know, you sort of think that and then you forget about it and go and do something else, but it's really bugging you deep down, you know. So those sorts of issues and feelings could come up, but this time you might come up with a solution and go and mow the grass yourself or something. You find a solution one way or the other. Also, legalities or people you don't get along with could also be involved somehow, and you get some sort of psychic flash about them as well. 10th sees Mercury entering Libra here, coming from your 12th house into your sign. Happy birthday, Libra. And this probably will give you some new solutions to old problems. So it might be time to update your identity, maybe new hair, makeup, new clothes or something like that. Update your ideas about yourself and how you approach the world, and there's bound to be a lot of communication and ideas floating around in your mind about what you truly believe and who you truly are. You could become more authentic under this influence so that people know who they're dealing with. It's not like a manufactured sort of persona, which is probably, like with me, I don't have time, but B, I just can't be bothered to manufacture a persona for YouTube or Facebook. It's takes a lot of energy to do that stuff, but spiritually it's actually not very healthy because you're fragmenting your personality into different areas, compartmentalizing your mind and your personality into different areas rather than integrating and joining all of the energy together, if that makes sense. Okay, you could be with Mercury here, Libra here. It's probably a time for very charming and polite communications and conversations, and you could be more popular now as well. From the 11th to the 23rd, Mars squares Mercury. Okay, watch this one. Everybody's got this. It's a bit of a nuisance because there's, sort of Mars is a bit pushy and loves to argue. And so if you see an argument coming, forewarned is forearmed, you can just avoid it perhaps. I'm not saying don't stick up for yourself. Yes, do stick up for yourself, but don't have an argument if you don't need to have an argument. And Libra, you don't want to have an argument because you like things peaceful and quiet, and you don't want to argue with people. So but do watch for impatience and frustration, and don't move your body, your physical body, too quickly, because Mars often pushes us, and then you've got something in your mind, your body's doing something else, and then the next thing you've jammed your finger in the door like I did a few months ago. So it's important to be really present and with your body and working as a whole, if that makes sense. Slow down and take some deep breaths, and do watch for headaches as well. 17th of October to the 12th of November, Jupiter squares your MC. As I said before, sometimes with these difficult aspects, like a square is a challenging aspect, but when Jupiter is involved, it just makes Jupiter more realistic and less head in the clouds type of energy. And under this, you could be attempting to improve your career in some way or your normal everyday work. You might seek new employment or a promotion, or request a higher salary or something like that. You feel like you deserve it, which is fair enough. However, this doesn't give you any kind of, Jupiter squaring MC doesn't give you any kind of indication which way this will be received, whether it'll be positive or negative. Okay, but if you keep your feet on the ground, then go for it, and you've got a good chance, put it that way. 17th of October to the 12th of November, Jupiter is opposite your ascendant. Okay, you could, again, it's not all bad, you could come in contact with a wider circle of people, meet new friends, or develop associations with influential people who can help you a great deal. Again, keep your feet on the ground and don't expect too much. Okay, but yeah, there might be something good happen there. 23rd sees Venus entering your second house, bringing beautiful smooth energy around your finances and your possessions. The only thing with this is Venus loves to shop, and sometimes she can influence you to spend lots of money, and it's important that you don't fritter away your hard-earned money on trinkets or things that are not valuable. But on the other hand, artwork and beautiful things that appreciate and value, she can actually help you. And so you could buy something that actually gains in value, but do watch for a buying spree. That might be on the cards. The 23rd sees the sun also enter the party here, and this brings insight, awareness, also happiness and a feeling of comfort or stability around your finances. 25th, solar eclipse here, new beginnings, and a focus on money-making ideas, creating money, new possessions. I want to say new home too. It's like sometimes that's associated, real estate's more to do with the 8th house, but you have the North Node there and Uranus. So it is possible that there's a new home. And that was in this card too. I picked up something about a change in residence. So this month would be a great time if you're thinking about it. You need to research it, of course. But with Uranus there, sometimes things that are out of the blue can happen, even really positive things, like a bolt of lightning strikes out of the blue, but it could be positive. And the North Node, it's like your destiny or your future is calling you. So embrace it, by all means. You might need to get a loan, or there's some deal with another person that's like a shared resource or a shared joint venture or something like that. Then we have 28th, Jupiter goes retrograde in Pisces down here into your 6th house. Things could go a little bit quieter to do with your work or your health, but because it's Jupiter, I wouldn't worry. It's more about again being realistic. So if you've got the money or you've got a stable job or things have manifested pretty concretely, it's likely to continue, and there could be a little bit of growth, but not a huge amount of growth, but a bit of growth. You might be thinking about things to do with your work or your health, but you just don't do anything about it. You just think about it for the moment, which is right, because it might not be the right time yet. But it's still a fairly good influence. 29th of October, Mercury enters your 2nd house here into Scorpio. Mercury enters Scorpio, bringing a lot of communications and ideas about your money. Lots of contact, lots of activity, and there could be new ideas about making money, and you're talking to other people about money and how they can make money also, but it's more about you, of course. 30th sees Mars retrograde in the 9th house. It stays in the 9th house through October, and you might not feel as energetic about expanding your life. You might not feel as energetic about study or travelling. Maybe you don't feel like travelling at the moment, and that's cool. But, it's a bit of a time for self-reflection. And probably not the best way or the best time right now to start new projects that are sort of expansive. Just watch for frustration again. It's better that you're quiet now if you can be. All right, so that's it, everyone. I hope this is useful for you. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. And if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, have a great month. Thanks, and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.